All right, so I want to do this video. It's kind of an entertaining video, if nothing else, because, well, you'll see. We're talking about turn signals. So I'm going to turn you around here and kind of give you an idea. I got a couple bikes in here, and please don't mind the background because, yeah, I got a lot of stuff going on in here. But anyway, we're going to go down here to this basic turn signal. And look, I'm going to make it a little easier. I'm going to turn you around here and take a look at this. So why are we talking about this turn signal? Well, so this is like a standard turn signal. It's not the one that actually comes on the bigger bike over here, the Super T. That's not it, but it's very, very similar and very, very close in a couple different ways. First of all, it's got plenty of surface area here. It's got this big rubber boot here. And yeah, so my Super T, after a trip last year, made it all the way home and they cracked, and then this one was falling down. So I'm like, okay, let me replace it. Wait a second, probably gonna have to do that on all four of them. I started taking a look at the cost. They're big, they're ugly, and they're expensive. So what did I end up doing? I went and I tried to find something that was close, knowing that these were borderline on the small side right here, but I chose them anyway because they did a handful of things for me. First of all, they are bright as can be, okay? You can absolutely see them in the daylight. When you turn these on, and I'll turn it on a little bit later, this illuminates white, and then of course there is an amber turn signal that will go on this side. The other beautiful thing about these are, when you go take a look at the back ones, I've integrated them into the tail light. So what happens is when they glow light red for back, so that increases the amount of light that you get out of the whole back end package. Plus, if you hit the brake, they illuminate even brighter. So I got greater brake light illumination. And then, of course, they have the signal, the amber signal that actually works the same way as the front. So had to do a little bit of wiring to this bike. They just didn't drop on there. Now, a couple other things that you're going to notice too is that the Yamaha, like some other ones, I think, have this teardrop opening. What are you going to do? And how did you fix that? Okay, so I ended up just measuring it. 3D printing out of PETG because PETG is a little bit better with UV, and I made these for these universal stalks. Okay, so that's great. Did know the whole time that when you take a look at the difference between these guys over here, that's pretty good size, and you back up over here and you look at these, that they would be a little bit too small. So what happened? Well, I'll show you what happened. So I go down to DMV, and if you can see this, there is a big fail there. And when you take a look, it's turn signals, front turns too small, length width is 3 inches, must be 3.5. They're actually less than that when you take a look at it. And if you look at the law, I don't have the sheet here for the law, but essentially what it says is that it has to be 3.5 square inches of a luminous lens, okay, that is bright enough to be seen within or at 100 feet in daylight, okay? Now, these things foot the bill, say for the size, okay? So it failed. So how did I end up with this pass? How did I end up with the pass? Okay, so first of all, I'm a little cheap, and so I'm not going and buying another set of turn signals, and I highly doubt that I'm gonna have that function with all the extra lights and stuff like that. So because I have a little bit of extra background and knowledge, I ended up creating these. Now, what in the world is this? So I'm going to be honest with you. This is my turn signal cheat. Okay, so let's kind of take a look a little bit more what they are. So I'm going to bring you over here, and I'm going to try to set you down if I can possibly do that. And let's see if we can get down here. And pardon me. Let's see if we can turn this down and turn it over here, and that way you can kind of see what's going on. All right, so hopefully you can see me over here, but this right here is something that I printed out at TPU. Now, TPU is phone case, okay? That's that same material right there. You can actually get that in a 3D printing. I measured this all up. I modeled it in SolidWorks, and then what I did is I tested it, and it slips right over the back of that. So why did I make that flexible? Well, I made it flexible so that this lip that you can see here is will actually be able to kind of like bend out of the way for my harder lens. Now, where did this come from? Well, I modeled that up as well, and what I also did is I selected a PETG material that is clear. Now, it looks a little frosty, and there's multiple reasons for that. First of all, I printed this with this down, and it's a frosted build plate, so it gives this frost. And then inside, I used a gyroid fill. Okay, so the gyroid kind kind of goes back and forth and kind of like little spirals and stuff like that. Now, why is that important? Well, that's important because I want the light to kind of like go all over the place, right? Needs to be an luminous lens. So this little bit of LED in here needs to be able to disperse. So what did I do? I printed this up. Of course, there were some prototypes. It wasn't perfect the first time, but let's go ahead and slide this on. So I have a little method that I figured out, kind of like the wider part. We'll slip on and bend this over a little bit. And then with a little bit of elbow grease, snaps right in position. And now we have our DOT approved turn signal. And the cool thing is that, you know, I don't know if you can tell in the camera, but like you don't really pay that close attention to what's going on with the, you know, the turn signals. You just see, okay, they're plenty big enough. So yeah, they naturally, that was something that worked out very well at DMV. So this is what this side looks like lit up. Now you can see that if it was dark in here, which I can turn it off. Yeah, you can see that the whole thing illuminates over here, which is really cool. And then if I use my turn signal, wow, like that really illuminates the entire thing. And so it does a pretty fantastic job as far as that goes. And then of course, I drive to DMV, I hook this thing up, put it on here, and then I leave the lane and I squeeze these pieces right here the best that I can so I don't tear this thing up. And I pull it off, and there's my pieces kind of done like that. Okay, so again, this is kind of like entertainment because remember, this isn't necessarily legal, but it kind of is. I'm not suggesting to do it, but it's just something that I thought was kind of neat because I have a little bit of background on how to do reverse engineering and design. I was able to do this. Some of the 3D printing that I have, which I've been really dabbling a lot with that, finding some of these materials, and sometimes you have something that's just enough, and then of course you can kind of like not necessarily beat the system because these right here, they don't follow the letter of the law, but darn it, if they aren't, they don't follow the spirit of the law. You can be seen no matter what happens as far as the daylight. This right here bridges the gap between me having to change these or put factory ones back on for inspection purposes. All right, so anyway, hopefully you found this enlightening or interesting. And, you know, if you like it, then maybe I'll do a few more.